The most recent event most of us remember is the hindsight of 2020, where we found out how vulnerable the food storage in America is. We had these types of scenes in our grocery stores where there was nothing to purchase. So it is very important in 2024, with the rising cost of food, that we be prepared to store food and be ready for any of these types of emergencies. I'm not storing food for the zombie apocalypse. 2020 was as close as I want to get to that.
We store food, we purchase it on sale, we have a nice pantry to put it in so that we're able to buy things like this. I don't use those often, Vern does. We're able to get those when they're a buy one, get one free on sale. So most everything in our pantry, including cream of mushrooms, cream of chicken, they were purchased at the lowest price possible. You don't have to wait to have a bunch of fancy, expensive Tupperware, and I love me some Tupperware. You can do things yourself to store food. I call this my redneck canning rotation system. I put it together with tape, for goodness sakes. It's a box, a nice corrugated box, and we put the newest things on the top so that they'll rotate down. Got cream of chicken, tomato soup, those type of things, because they're very hard to stack up on top of each other, and this takes very little room. Also, when you get coffee, that's a food safe container because coffee is food, okay? So I put my rice in it. The first thing I do with rice is I freeze it for 3 days so that any bugs in it make the dead. We know they're bugs, we know we've eaten bugs for years, but I don't have to make it that hard. This at the bottom, I think, is quick grits. Put my sugar in one. I take a little cheesecloth. We're on a house on a tidal creek. We're raised 9 feet in the air. I think it's 9, I always get the number wrong. It's 9, 10, or 11, who knows? Anyway, I'm up in the air. So I'm gonna put a picture in here of our driveway and backyard when there are storms coming in and there's water rising. We're not in a velocity zone. We did that on purpose. We don't need to have crashing waves under our house. I have 10 of these on hand, so I can make bread, I can make anything that I need to make. Now, I can do it from scratch. And if you can't, you can freeze bread, you can buy Grand's biscuits, so that if you have a situation where they don't have those at the store, you can cook those. It doesn't mean you have to do everything from scratch. What works for us is scratch cooking and also home canning, but you don't have to be a home canner to store food. We store what we eat. We grow our own red bell peppers. If you can't, you buy them at the store when they're on sale. I slice them up and I put them in sucky bags, vacuum sealer bags. So I always have on hand onion, celery, and bell pepper, because I am Cajun, and that is the basics of most of the things, shrimp Creole, that we eat and enjoy. So we store food that we eat. Also, these are Thrive, and this is powdered milk. It's good for 25 years. Once you open it, it has a shorter shelf life, but once you open it, you're gonna use it. So we think about it like this. Are we gonna stop drinking coffee? No, we're not. So we purchase coffee, whether it's Maxwell House, Folgers, Food Lion's brand, Kroger's brand, when it's on sale. And we just stack them up. They're easy to stack on top of each other. And again, we know that everything of coffee that we purchased it when it was the lowest price. And in 2020, we didn't have to leave our house for 6 weeks. Okay, because we are the, what do you call it, the vulnerable population. We fall under the category of the elderly. So we went through our home canned foods, those type of things. We're happy to have 2 types of milk on the shelf from Thrive to be able to use and feel safer. And the only thing they had in our stores when we ventured out was pork butt. There was no hamburger meat. There was nothing. There was not chicken. We got a large turkey and cooked that and then put it in our canning jars, made broth, that sort of thing. But I took advantage of that pork butt because I canned. So brought it home and was able to can up. I probably had 150 jars of pork that I can turn into a pulled pork sandwich anytime that I want. And if I didn't have hamburger buns and there weren't at the store, I can make my own. So store food that you eat, but it's not impossible to store food. And when you go, oh, I don't have room, these will slide right under a bed. So you do have the room, you just have to find the room and use the space that you have. You can do it. And don't overlook things like these sides. They're a great side to have with a meal. Like bread, rice is very filling so that everyone gets a little bit something different on their plate. And you can plan out your meals and go to your freezer and go, okay, I have these chicken thighs, right? What can I make with that? Oh, I've got a Knorr side that you can make. So again, we get these when they're on sale, usually 10 for $5. So that's something we always have in our pantry. And I freeze these first. 3 days they sit in my chest freezer. Then I lay them out on a towel, flip them over for 2 days, and then I put them in my pantry. I don't need no weevils. I don't need no bugs. Thank you, I am bug free, and I'm gonna stay that way. Another thing that you can store in is buckets. This happens to be a food safe bucket, but you can get a regular large box store, Lowe's, Home Depot bucket. And then, this is only a 1 gallon, but they make a 5-gallon bag. So you can use a non-food safe, put that large Mylar bag in there, pour your beans, your rice, whatever you're using, seal it with a flat iron. In my case, I put a gamma lid on it. You ain't got to have a gamma lid. It just makes it easier to open. But if you got a man at home or a teenage boy, they can open anything. They might use their teeth, it don't matter. They get it open, you're happy. So don't say I don't have anywhere to store that. If you have an end table that has those 3 little screw-on legs and a round top, because I have one, with a cute little cover over it, guess what's under it? A 5-gallon bucket for me. People can't see it, but I know it's there. These I can stack up on top of each other in my pantry. So you don't have to have an ideal space, but you do need to store food. And if you ain't noticed, food is skyrocketing. Not just food. Wind, hail, flood, earthquake insurance is up 48% for us. Our auto insurance went up 40%. Never had a claim, never had an accident. Okie dokie. So where does that extra money come from? It comes out of our food or entertainment budget. But you can get any Lowe's or Home Depot bucket. You can usually get them from a deli that had icing in it and clean it. Buy you a gamma lid, G-A-M-M-A-L-I-D. It ain't hard if you want to store food. And if we learned nothing in 2020, it was that you need to have food on hand. And you need to know how to cook that food. So that's how we roll. I don't care that I have rice in a Maxwell House can. It's not a part of decorations in my living room. I'm not trying to make a perfect display of food. I'm just trying to store food safely that we can eat. And by storing that food, we didn't have to leave our house for 6 weeks in 2020. Another thing, again from the dollar store or the $1.29 store, I keep my pastas in here, and this is after I freeze them. I've got what, Nor sides in there, instant potatoes. These are all things you can store, and these stack up on top of each other. I'm not gonna quit eating spaghetti. I'm not gonna quit eating lasagna. I'm also not gonna stop using deodorant or soap, so I store those things too, but we're talking about food. Okay, so quit making excuses and go, oh, I've gotta wait till I get the proper containers. Screw that. Get you some Dollar Tree stuff and put you some food in it. It ain't rocket science. It ain't hard. And we be hungry. And ain't nobody want to see me when I am hangry. I ate 3 meals a day. I didn't grow to be 67 not eating food. And Vern will tell you she need to eat. He can take a look at me and go, she need to eat. She about to snap. So I am what I am. So we're in my pantry. And I buy pickles when they're on sale. And they go back quite a ways. Why? Because I am a deviled egg potato salad eating fool. And I just don't find it hard to get sweet gherkins on sale. See, here's some of my good Tupperware, right? My all-purpose flour's in one, and my sugar's in the other one. But they were expensive. And the rest of the time, you see that I've got them in Maxwell House cans. And then I transfer them into here for ease in making a recipe in my kitchen. My Thrive is at the top because that we consider our emergency food supply. When I empty out, let's see what I have here. A sugar, a rice, it goes here on this shelf. Then I know when I go to make the grocery list, I want to replace, is that also a sugar? Okay. I want to replace a rice, sugar, and flour. It's like knuckle dragon. I am a knuckle dragon food storage enthusiast. And you can be too. Because if you're hungry, your family hungry. And if you didn't learn nothing in 2020, you might be unteachable. And that is not good. And the good old little storage things for 4 gallons of milk, ideal to store things in. These are my pastas, some of my pastas, and they're in Mylar bags. They're very safe.